All right. Cool. Now I'm live. Awesome. I know last week I swore I was going to have this working better than the week prior. Cool. Oh. Now I'm live. Awesome. Wait a minute. I heard myself on the actual stream. All right. We are good. Awesome. So I want to get my lights brighter. That's all right. While I get some things ready, because I'm not fully prepared, I wanted to share a version of the spreadsheet that I talked about in my newsletter. But for some context, for any of you who are, there we go, there goes my seat. For any of you who are not on my newsletter, the newsletter each week, or there's a theme in the newsletter and then in the live stream. So if you're finding me brand new, hello, my name is Jackie. I am a process junkie, productivity nerd, and recovering perfectionist, and I help companies to create workflows that don't suck. And a lot of times that is revolving around process, project management, and a little bit of change management, and a overarching theme of productivity, because that's what I love. What can we do to be more productive? So the theme of this week is stop using spreadsheets for project management. And I know I'm going to get shit because I have this back here, my sign. Relax, I have a spreadsheet for that. So there's a caveat, an asterisk. I love spreadsheets for data, for pivot tables, for things like that, for things that you don't need to be reminded of. That's why I don't love spreadsheets for project management, because you need to be not told. The less our brains have to work, the better. And I mentioned in the newsletter that if you're managing projects in a spreadsheet, you have to know exactly what you're looking for, where to find it. The data is not being pushed out to you. You have to go dig like you're a little kid on a scavenger hunt. And that's no fun for anybody. All right, there's my light bulb. Light is not working today. So that's why I don't love spreadsheets. And is my Stream Deck working today? Let's see. Come on, Stream Deck. No, I want to get my scenes live stream. Okay, let's see. I wanted to share with you. I posted on LinkedIn yesterday, right after shortly after the newsletter went out. And let me share with you why. Let's see. All right. I had done an interview with a good friend and I guess I can call her a colleague of mine, Anna Bullock, about on her podcast called Love Your Business Mom. So plug for you, Anna, Love Your Business Mom. I'll tag her podcast in the comments. I'll write that on my task list, Love Your Business Mom. And part of Anna and I's conversation was very central, very focused on project management. And we got talking about spreadsheets. And she is of the mindset of to each his own. If managing simple projects in a spreadsheet works for you, great. And my thought was, I don't care how simple it is. I don't love it. So as soon as my newsletter went out yesterday, Anna replies, and thank you, Anna, that was awesome. And she said, I'm over here cackling, laughing at your newsletter because of the topic. So I posted in LinkedIn to get people's opinions. And obviously this is a very polarizing topic. So I have some comments I need to respond to. So this person says, I need to be tool agnostic. I find it depends. And Amy, hey, Amy, we have chatted before. Love you, Amy. She was just discussing that for the moment, spreadsheets is the way. So I'm going to reply to this because this was the point, to create a conversation. No, I want to respond to Amy here. So Amy. So actually, she really... What just happened to my browser? always technical difficulties. Sorry, anybody who's watching. If you came with a story about spreadsheets, let me know in the comments. Or if you have a question, let me know in the comments. Why the hell is this not going? There we go. Oh, if you're curious about this browser, this is called Wavebox. I love this. You have these things on the side called spaces, and you can have different apps saved for whatever, some spaces are for projects, things like that. So this is awesome. So for Amy, this is a great segue into the actual tearing down and unfucking and building it back. Is that if nobody uses the tool, it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless, which has happened, unfortunately, with more clients than I would like to be true. Is we spend all this time and they spend all this money and they put all this effort into building out a tool. It could be ClickUp, it could be HubSpot, it could be really, it doesn't matter. And if the tool is not easy to use and people don't use it, what's the point? So Amy makes a really good point. So I'm going to tell her, I see that issue a lot, that people build out a fancy tool and don't use it. Also, all right, so I agree there. Use what's effective and what people will actually, I wish you could do, so I agree there. And don't use it. I'm notorious for typos. So I agree there. Use what's effective and what people actually use. Perfect. Let's see. Who else? Anna. And then Monica. I don't know you, Monica. That is cool. Thank you for the comment here, Monica. You're an IT project manager here with experience in Silicon Valley. Awesome. In my experience, it depends on the project. Oh, go away, Facebook notifications. For example, when we decommissioned our on-prem server, Excel was more than enough. It was an one-off project with limited variables and using a lightweight solution. Okay, that makes sense. It's not the tool, it's the PM. Oh my goodness, Monica, absolutely. Hey, let's see, I see some comments. Yay, we've got Pam and Casey, hello. Let's see, Pam, you work in a spreadsheet rogue nation environment. Oh my goodness. Pam, you and I are going to be best friends if the thought of awful project management makes you want a day drink. Somewhere in here, let's see. This is also my craft room. See, this makes the live stream so much more fun when you guys are here. Look at this. I also live 10 minutes from the beach. So we have got, oh, you can't see this. There you go. At the beach, we do beer 30 or wine o'clock. And I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when I'm working at night, because I'm with my kids during the day, I certainly have a margarita while I work. So awesome. So keep sending me any more questions. But I love Monica's comment here is that it is absolutely the project manager. And I had this conversation with a client this week, actually, that I said, who is actually overseeing, this stuff that is in ClickUp? Because you still need human oversight. You could have the best automated tool ever, but who is making sure the deadlines are accurate? Who is making sure if there are risks identified or actual issues that they're being taken care of? That somebody still has to have real eyes on this. So I absolutely love this. If you've got a project manager who's on top of their shit and that's their job, if their job is PMing and not doing, you're right. A spreadsheet could absolutely work. So I'm going to reply to her too. Yes. So I would say, thanks for commenting, Monica. I have a new friend. Thanks for commenting. Yeah. So she is absolutely right. The PM makes all the difference. Awesome. Cool. Enough about my social media-ing. So let's see. I wanted to have a spreadsheet ready to at least show you and some real examples, because that's what I like to do. So while I am getting, because I did not prep ahead of time, I wanted to get a spreadsheet from a client and scrape it and not scrape it, that's the wrong word. Get all of the client information or any, because everything's under NDA. I want to get any PII, not personal identifying information, but any confidential information I wanted to get out of the spreadsheet. But let me tell you this. So this is the story that I put in the newsletter. And the reason I feel like this is important is because I don't want you to think that I just went to ChatGPT and told it to make up a story. That's absolutely not true. And if you think that, it's bullshit. So I am here to tell you that everything I talk about are real stories. It's not just once upon a time in a screwed up project management environment. So this is real stuff that I deal with. Oh man, where is it? Oh, they had given, I think it's in my Google Drive. See, this is the other thing. I talk about a lot. Centralization. I work in Google Suite. Some of my clients are in Teams, and I've got stuff all over the place. I'm like, was this in Google Drive? Was this in Teams? Was this in OneDrive? And I know a lot of companies deal with that internally, right? Not just me being a consultant who's working in different client environments. It's within organizations. Aha, here it is. All right, so let me get this spreadsheet and I'm going to duplicate this so then I can tell you. But with this company, they sell very high end products. Like these products cost multi-million dollars. Alrighty. And their sales process is super long. There's a salesperson involved. There is they call them project managers involved, because the sales pipeline and the sales cycle is so long and complex that it is treated like a project. It's crazy. Well, it's not crazy. It's actually very effective, and this company is very, very, very good at what they do. Their project management needed a little bit of help. So let's see, I'm almost done cleaning this out. Internal kickoff, brochures, let's see. All right. None of this is really responsible party, approver projects. Yeah, I'm just going to take the name of the projects out of here. So yeah, sorry that I didn't do this ahead of time. But it'll make more sense once I show you. Let's see. Current status, next action, next incomplete action. All right. Let's see. None of this should give anything away. Yeah, this is all very, 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 very vague. Okay. Okay. Hopefully you guys are still with me. Looks like it. Copy, copy, copy. All right, so I'm going to pop this out. Cool. All right, now I can share because everything is taken out. All right, so this is going to look very familiar to a lot of you, I'm sure. All right, ta-da! Move my face over here. So this is they called it a project cleanup sheet, but they run their Monday meetings out of this spreadsheet. Oh, I didn't look at let's see. I'm going to move this off. Oh, oops, that's the real one. Oops, All right, sorry. I didn't look at the other tabs. Project deliverable. Actually, this doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything on it that I can't share. All right, so this spreadsheet has these 3 tabs, but then they had other spreadsheets as well. So this is their project timeline. So we have got 4 stages, what it's called, who owns it, what if tickets are being submitted, time to complete. This cleanup is blank, but they would run their weekly meetings. And I sat in on one of their weekly meetings because I love that. I love being a fly on the wall in companies' meetings to see how they actually run. I find that I get so much more insights into how they work, because when we're meeting, I don't always get all that information. So I love sitting in on meetings. So we've got this was the project name. the current status, so letter of intent in our hands, it's likely this quarter. Then we've got our next action. Jack, hey, you're having flashbacks. Oh, there's my other workflow friend. Hey, Jack. So we've got our next action, the next incomplete task. Yeah, what is going on here? And then each section here, 5 through 11, is one type of project. Then 13 through down here, 27 is another type of project. Then they had prospects. So these weren't even deals in the works. Then again, under contract, and then these are their phases, right? Pre-launch, G through O is their phase, and then the role of the person, and then the status of the thing. I mean, come on. And in this yellow here was a person's name, but I took that out. But they would go through this line by line. I mean, look at this. Then, and if, let's say for some of these projects, pre-launch was finished, you had no idea what stage each project was in because you had to go through all of this. And who the hell comes in here and actually updates this shit? So this was their spreadsheet. And when I sat in on their meeting, my eyes rolled so much. So I wanted to do a live import of this into ClickUp to show you. But I think instead, because this will take a lot of time and I think it will be boring unless you really want to see it. But something like this can be set up in any project management system. I know ClickUp is my jam, but here we're translating, most project management tools look similar, if we're being honest. So the project here, this row is the task in any project management system. Your status, I mean, this is a very detailed status, but in ClickUp at least now, we've got the AI fields that can automatically generate for you a summary of what's going on in that task. Anymore, but again, I wouldn't want to show you their real work. But now each of these columns, G, H, I, J, is a subtask. Oh, it looks like I dropped. Looks like I'm back. So the row here is a project, but then these really are subtasks of the project. So we've got kickoff, review and requested. Do we need an e-brochure? Do we need these story sheets? Do we need to add anything to inventory? All of these are tasks. Like, this is crazy. So this can be set up very, very simply in a project management tool. So here's what I'll do, actually. I'm going to put these side by side. And I'm going to show you manually how I would do this, because this spreadsheet would take forever to clean up if I were to clean this up. Well, I shouldn't say it wouldn't take forever, but I want to show you at least the basic structure of how to set this up in ClickUp. Because yeah, I know a lot of you you're having flashbacks. Let's see. Casey, you asked, love the setup. Can you share how you do that? Can you be more specific? Tell me what you would like to see. And I would be happy to. I'd be happy to share with you. Oh, look, I can chat back. Can I type your name? Oh, I can. Look at that. Let me know what you'd like. Let me know what setup you like so I can share it. Look at that. Cool. Yay. This is so cool. Awesome. So let me show you what I would do. So if we are creating a project management thing for this, I will recreate at a very high level what we did for them. So I'm just going to call this sales projects. Cool. So this is going to be a workflow build on steroids. So this is kind of what I did. I shouldn't say kind of. This is what I do when I work with clients. They give me their mess and then we untangle it. So this is a little bit of insight into my crazy brain. So we're setting up a new space. I just use starter because that's what I like to do. I like to turn off everything by default. Do I have a set of normal statuses? Let's see. My statuses I like to use are make to do. I always make in progress blue. I don't know why. I just like blue. Maybe review. And I usually do review in purple. while I'm going through this, best practice is, actually, I'm going to switch these around so I'm staring more at the camera. Best practice is use a consistent color coding system for all of your statuses. That way, at a glance, you can see what they are. Or if you see blue, you know it's in progress. If you see purple, you know it's review. If you see gray, which is ClickUp's default, you know it is in a not started. I also like to do waiting for. That means I've done my piece, but I'm waiting for somebody else to get something back to me. And then I don't like close. I'm going to do complete and done. Okay, I'm going to save this. Or actually, I like to do nixed. Nixed is like canceled. We don't need it. We're not going to do it. I use this. I have a client in, oh shit, if I get this wrong, they're going to kill me. Minnesota, I think right now. And the first time I use that, they're like, nixed. What is that? Some Jersey term? I'm like, yeah, it means like squashed. Like we're not doing it. It's so nixed. Let's see, ClickUps. I'm not going to do sprints, remap, subtask, due dates. So ClickUps are just different features and functionalities that can be turned on or off. Let's see. Oh, Casey, you said, I mean, the way you had your screen when sharing LinkedIn. Oh, that is my, I also use canceled. Ah, okay, awesome. On hold when you're waiting for something. Cool. I tend to use on hold for, I don't know, like something that for some reason is being delayed for whatever reason. Like it was in progress and then it's stalling. So at least that's just how I use it. So how I had my screen when sharing LinkedIn. Like this. Okay. So this is a web browser called Wavebox. Oh, look at this. This all got a little wonky as well. This is a browser called Wavebox, and I really like this. There's here, I can show you real quick here. It's like basically like a hierarchy of browser tabs. So this is and you can have sections. So I've got a home section. I've got all my G Suite things. So then these are all apps. And you can have different like cookie containers, if you will. Like, for example, if I want to be signed into one Gmail account in this is called a space, and I want to be signed into a different Gmail account in another space, I can. And I used to have this problem a lot a few years ago when I was logged into some ClickUp accounts with one email address. I was logged into some ClickUp accounts for another email address, and I had to have I just realized Helen's good thing. I love Helen, and she probably won't mind that I have this up on the screen. It avoids not having to have multiple Chrome browsers. So this is a Chromium browser, but I have marketing. So then I have all of my apps within marketing, all my apps within sales. So things like that. So I can, yeah. So it's called Wavebox. If you have other questions though, I can let you know, or you can, oh my goodness, if you have questions, let me know. Alrighty, back to this workflow. So again, I try to, let's see if I try to make this a little bit smaller. So you can see the way we set this up is we did a different list for each type of project because there was a different workflow for each project type. So we called this one, we did a list for acquisition. I can never spell that damn word. Then we did a list for brokerage. And I think we had a third list, but I don't remember right now. One thing I do recommend though is before you let's say you've got 4 different project types that have 4 different workflows. I normally recommend getting one set up with the views and stuff you like and then duplicating them. But that's all right for right now. So let's just do acquisition for now. So now what I like to do when I'm building a workflow is do the get statuses in here. So if I go over here, their statuses should probably be pretty simple. So I know I had said that those were the statuses I like, but when I am doing statuses for a client, I will do what they like because it's not about me. It's about you. So we have, let's see. We don't have do we have a not started? Do they not have a not started? That's weird. All right. Well, we'll do to do. They have in progress. They don't have a, let's see, their next is omitted. Omitted, approved. That's a great use of a done status. Complete, not approved. I like that. Complete, not approved. I don't know how. That's not going to let me put that whole thing out there. Let's see, scheduled. I like scheduled. Okay, and then we got our NA. I like NA also. Let's see, in progress, incomplete. Did we do it? What the hell does incomplete mean? That's all right. Incomplete. Maybe we can do that orange. Complete down there. We'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that. Okay, cool. So I'll explain really quickly the difference between a done and a complete status. You can only have one. Well, ClickUp calls it a closed status. We go down here, closed and done. So the difference between those two groupings, because we've got 4 groupings of statuses: not started, active. You can have as many not started as you want. You can have as many active and as many done, but you can only have one closed. So the done and closed statuses both make the task not overdue. So if we've got a task that was due last week, but we changed it to not applicable, it won't show as overdue in an overdue dashboard or view. Also, done statuses or tasks in a done status will show by default unless you intentionally hide them. Closed statuses will default be hidden unless you show them. So the way I like to think of this is there's a lot of ways to get from to do to done, like done, end of the road. We are not revisiting this anymore. But something might be approved, but then might go back to in review, or maybe something is completed, not approved, but then maybe we go back to in progress to look at it again, and then it goes back to approved, and then it's completed. So that's just a quick rundown of that. Okay, save those changes. All right, so those are our statuses. Now I like to then create any custom fields. Now again, if you are doing an import, you will create the custom fields while you're doing the import. I can show you real quick where to find that. And again, anybody who is watching for the first time, this new demo workspace I have is ClickUp 4.0. Not everybody has 4.0 yet. It's being rolled out in beta. So different workspaces are getting it little by little. But if you go to, not that one, import export, you will start an import. You'll pull up the spreadsheet, or you will tell ClickUp what spreadsheet to pull. And then you will map out all of the different things you want to import. I think that I have, well, I know I have a pre-recorded video that I have sent out to clients, so I can tag that. I can upload that to YouTube as well. So I'm going to upload Excel import. I'll upload that after this, and then I will link to it. So I've got a really, really simple demo on how to do that. So let's go back to our sales projects. So next I'm going to do custom fields. The first one that looks important here is going to be the stage. So I'm going to go up to the space level, and I'm going to create that custom field. So here's another quick mini lesson for ClickUp. Statuses, custom fields, automations, where you build them in the hierarchy is very important. You've got to be very intentional. So just for an example, acquisition, this little symbol up here are your automations. You can have automations at the space level, and they will trickle down. So if you have an automation that says when a due date arrives and the status is not complete, change the priority to urgent, let's say. If you set that at the space level, anytime that trigger happens for any task in the whole space, that automation will trickle down. But let's say you've got an automation that you only want to happen for a certain list. If you build the automation at that list, it will only trigger there. So just think of it like a cascading waterfall. Anything, statuses, custom fields, or automations that you create at the space level will apply to everything below it. If you have a status automation custom field at a folder level, it'll apply to everything in that folder and list only. So for this, because with this client, the acquisition and the brokerage workflows were different, we made them have separate lists because they did have different custom fields. So that's kind of a litmus test as well. Because you could say, well, why don't I make the project type a drop down? You certainly could. But if those two types of projects have different or need different statuses, need different custom fields, that is a good indication that they should be in separate lists. Or if they progress through a different set of gates, different lists then. But for this example, we will just put the custom fields at the space level. So I'm going to create a new field. I'm going to call this stage. And I'm going to call these pre-launch. Pre-lunch? Sounds like lunch with an accent. Pre-launch, launch. What else did they have? Normally I do this on two screens. I've got my big Mongo screen over here and I got my other screen on the left. So normally I I have things on all the screens, but for you guys, I want to have it like this. So on market active, under contract. Okay, then we have, okay. I thought they had more. That's okay. We'll go with this for right now. So those are our stages. We also had a custom field for role or department because they broke out their tasks that way. So I'm just going to call this department for now. And we have PM, project manager, technical. They had a technical lead. They had marketing person. They had the account manager, just abbreviate for the sake of speed. Account manager, that's, well, sales. All right, we'll put that as sales. I used to be in sales, and my husband gets on my case now when I talk about AEs or AMs. He's like, why aren't they just called salespeople? Like, why do they have to have fancy names? I'm like, I don't know. I was never called an account manager. I was just a salesperson. All right, so we got research, technical, PM, marketing, research, biz dev. All right. See, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you've got and I may have misjudged this in the newsletter, like, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different people involved, over a project that could take you 7 months. Like, this spreadsheet ain't gonna cut it. All right, so we've got our department. Let's see, we're gonna create an AI field, right? We're gonna create an AI field that's going to be, and we did use this for them. We're gonna say, I think there is actually, I'm gonna discard these changes because if we go back out to here, to the list view, there should be some options here. Here we go, summary. So we're gonna do a bulleted list, sure, and ClickUp will give you some prompts here. So use up to 4 lines, simple wording, don't reference da. Cool, we're just gonna use that for now. So we've got a summary. Now they want a next action. Now I'm gonna be honest, let's see, when did we stop work? I stopped working with them, I think end of April. And back then, I mean, it's only July, so that's 2-3 months since I stopped working with them. And so much has changed with the ClickUp AI. We had gotten very hung up on this next action because ClickUp wasn't pulling it the way that I wanted it to. But you could create another text field, custom text field, next action. And I could say, I don't know. You tell me the next steps needed for this project to continue. I know that is a really shitty prompt and it's probably not going to give me anything, but it's there for right now. So again, the hierarchy, super important in ClickUp. We are clicked into the space level. That's the blue. We can see both lists here. Acquisition. Now we're just seeing acquisition tasks and just brokerage tasks. All right, let me see time. We got about 20 minutes left. Let me kick this into gear here. So we got next action, incomplete task. All right, so here we've got some more custom fields to add. Custom fields. Gonna go to, I'm gonna create a date field. Again, we're not gonna use the due date field because the due date field is the date, the date that the actionable thing is needs to be done by. This is more like just a data point. Target closing. Again, think of ClickUp as well, I shouldn't say, it's a task management tool. You can use ClickUp for non-actionable things, but the assignee, the due date, is the person who's responsible for the actionable thing, and the due date is the day that the actionable thing has to be done by. So if you want a benchmark date, create a custom field. Under contract, that's going to be a drop down. Under contract, that's going to be a yes or no. Yes or no. So for things like this, I either like to make it green for yes, no. Why am I disconnected? No, am I coming back? Oh, am I reconnected? Oh man, why is my internet going out? All right, Jack, thank you so much for joining. That was fun. I'm so glad to have people in the comments this time. All right, so what was I saying? Previous team that I managed called this jackifying. They said, I like to jackify things, make them pretty. Let's see, under contract, target date. Let's see. So the rest, again, for the sake of the example, I'm going to leave it at this for now. I want to make this a little bit smaller so I can see more. So now we've got the basic structure of what the workflow is going to be, pulling it from the spreadsheet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this first one Project 1 or 21, either way. The other thing I like to do is set up the columns. What columns do you want to see? Because I know in a spreadsheet, there's no way to hide anything. You see everything. So if we come into the task, now we've got the assignee, the dates, time estimates, all of that. We've got all of our custom fields. But maybe you don't want to see every single custom field in a column. So that's why we're going to add them. Now I know when you click the column, it tells you to create a field. But if you search for the field you already made, it comes up. So stage, we're going to add the stage. I'm going to add the target date. I'm going to add the contract, the under contract. And again, priority, I'm going to get rid of the priority flag. ClickUp automatically puts assignee, due date, and priority as columns. So I'm just going to say this project is in launch. We have a closing target date of let's see, right before Thanksgiving there. And I'm the assignee. I need to put some more people in here. Now, what I like to do is I like to build out what the template is going to be, because this is a very waterfall style project, even though for this example, there were things that could be omitted depending on the client. So I usually recommend to front load the template with everything you could possibly have and delete what's not needed. Or there could be some type of trigger that triggers an automation that if there's this special condition, then apply a template that's going to add certain subtasks. So the way that I would build this is the project is the task, and then the subtasks are going to be everything that needs to get done. So there's two ways to skin this cat. One is you would do pre-launch, launch on market, and what was the last stage? Closing, under contract. Under contract. And then below that, you can do your tasks. So normally, let's see if I can do this. Because normally you can copy and paste things into ClickUp and it'll recognize it. So let's see what happens if I do this. Ah, yes. I hope you saw that. Sweet. I didn't realize you could do rows. That is the only thing though is that's so weird. It split these up. Internal kickoff is one task. Then we've got this. Oh man, it didn't do it as. Oh, it definitely didn't do it as nicely as I wanted to. That's okay. Reviewed and requested. This guy's gonna be. I'm just gonna call it e-brochure. This guy's gonna be. Yeah, this didn't work as. Man, I got really excited. NIP story. Okay. Valuations. Damn it. Yeah, whatever. Oops. Please forgive any typos. My brain and my hands don't always connect. Inventory. Okay, inventory. Whatever. For now, I'm not going to put everything in. Okay. Oh, is that from the wrong task? Oh, that's from, pre-launch. They don't have, I thought launch was its own thing. Whatever. So we don't have launch in this situation. Whatever. So on market, we're going to have client updates, market updates, biz, dev, campaign, spec update. Cool. Under contract. So LOI, letter of intent, kickoff. I'm just going to do proposal. Report. Again, this is super, super simplistic. The tasks would normally have much more detail. Technical acceptance, return to service, closing. Cool. Good enough for now. So then what I would do is I would click on bulk select, pick the first one, hit shift, click the last one, custom fields, stage. This one is under contract. Save. Boom. Now, same thing here. Custom field, stage, on market. Now, again, when you import from a spreadsheet, you have the options to have all of this brought in. Because if you had 50 projects in that spreadsheet, you would not want to have to create a task from a template and set all of this shit. It would take you an insane amount of time. But for now, I thought it would be helpful to, again, show you what this would look like from a manual perspective. Because you got to learn how to, ride a bike with training wheels before you get on a big boy bike or big girl bike. So there we go. We've got our stages as our tasks. Oh, the other thing I like, this is one of my favorite custom fields. It's kind of a hidden gem. I'm going to call the auto progress. Because what's cool about this is, so now from this template, I'm going to hide Assigny. The entire project is in the launch phase, right? So if I go here, the whole project is in progress. Now our pre-launch is in progress. Let's see, I complete these tasks. Now, that was 4 out of 6, so that is 75%. This bar should move to 75%. And then the project should reflect 75% of 4. I can't do that. 1. Wow, I can do mental math. 75% of 4 things. No, that's less than 1. That would be 100% of. I can't do math in my head. So, all right, that is. I'm going to get rid of that now because now we're really just worried about ClickUp. Why is it taking forever? All right, 15 minutes. All right. If anybody has any questions while I'm doing this, please shoot them in the chat. Let's see if this worked. Why didn't this work? So here is also where I mentioned done versus complete. When something is completed, it is hidden or closed. ClickUp calls it closed. It's hidden by default. So now it shows we only have 2 subtasks left. If I come over here, let me zoom in more so everybody can see. If I turn on, toggle on subtasks, now we can see that these are completed. But let's say I change this one to just be approved, and I turn this off. Now a done task will always show unless you filter it out. A closed task will always be hidden unless you intentionally show it. Alrighty. You could also put back the status column. So if you want to see that for your subtasks, complete. I don't know why this isn't showing the roll up. That makes no sense. Let me go back to the settings on here. Again, I like when things don't work well while I'm doing this because things don't always, or things never go exactly how you plan when you're building these things out. So I want you to see how I like to troubleshoot them. Progress, track completion of and then display 100% when it is a done status. Display 100% when completed. Let's see what that does. Let's see. Oh, hey, Alex, what's up? I don't know why this isn't working. All right, Alex, who just joined, he is another fellow ClickUp pro. Let's see. I don't know why that's not working, but this should show 75%. So the other way to do this, I'm going to duplicate this to show you option 2. Duplicate the whole task. We'll call this project 2. Because again, this is really preference. This is total preference on the user, the company, the department. There we go, project 2. So the let's see, I'm going to call, we'll put this in review just so we can do that. The other option is to pop all of these out as their own subtasks. What the hell? Now it worked. That's interesting. All right, so now instead of, I'm going to call it a header, but it's a subtask. Now instead of, to compare, our subtasks as the phases or stages, and then our nested subtasks as the tasks, now we've got them as all subtasks. So I'm going to get rid of pre-launch because we had nothing there. Launch, we had nothing there. So now on market, we're going to take these 4, and again, we're going to pop them out a level of the hierarchy. Deselect. Now we can get rid of the on market task. And then all of these are listed as under contract. We're going to pop these all out and show it that way, deselect, and then we'll delete this task. So these are, so in this situation, I would probably move these over. So this is option 2. Man, I got really dark. You know, it's really rainy here. Let's see, let me turn up my ISO on the camera. You can see me better. I'm sick of this rain. We're getting crazy, crazy summer thunderstorms here in New Jersey. So if I zoom in a little bit more, here you can see too, let me move my face back to over here. In this option, it shows 16 subtasks. And I like when you hover over this, 12 to do, complete, maybe evaluations is in progress. Maybe that's, in review, whatever. So now we've got 25% of all of the tasks. So 4 out of 16, that math I can do. The whole project is 25%. Actually, I'm wondering here if this has to be changed to complete. Come on, before the subtask changes. If I change that to complete, now that's at 100%, but this should then that doesn't show anything. That should still show as 75%. Let me do a hard refresh. Casey, not sure what you're laughing at, but I'm glad you're laughing. My goal in life, I'm going to borrow this term from somebody from yesterday, but I'll be the project management class clown. I'm going to steal that from you, Jessica Carice. So option 1, have all of your subtasks just laid out. Because obviously within kickoff, there's going to be stuff to do. Let's see, client updates. Within that, there would be, I don't know, send new, send new agreement. I don't know. Send new agreement. I'm trying to think of something fictitious here. We're going to update them on marketing, marketing progress, whatever. So this is still under this. And in this version, you've got, let's see. I still want to know why this. Oh, I hate these roll-ups sometimes. They don't always work. So these are your 2 options. I'm not going to go too far into it. Again, it's really up to you on how you want to see this. But then what you would do is, here's the other thing I forgot to do. I'm going to go back to the space level because there are 2 different project types. actually, we can do one of two things here. Use the AI feature to auto. Yes, Alex, yes, if that was available, you may know what project this is. But if that was available back in March and April, I absolutely would have. Instead of, actually, I built this out for that Minnesota client that I'm talking about. We had AI to only add subtasks when the project was in that stage, which was really cool. So we would say, okay, when the entire project enters the on market, then add just the subtask for on market. That way you're not, because what happened was, let's put the assignee back. What was happening was, put the assignee field. What was happening, especially in a project that takes months and months and months and months and months. I would, if I was built into the template, because you can build people into the template. Alex, maybe I'll add you here as an assignee that I can use for demos. So if I was, so let's say we've got a template, I apply the template, I all of a sudden get all these tasks assigned to me, but they don't have due dates yet because this under contract is probably 6 months down the line. It was very confusing. It's like, well, I got these tasks assigned to me, but what do I do? So yes, in a client we're working with right now, we've got subtasks added when a project enters a certain stage, which is live troubleshooting. Yeah, things never go the way I want. So, where was I going with that? So you could do this next thing one of two ways. Let's see. Kim said, I like that. My team freaks out when they see a bunch of tasks assigned to them. Yes. So let's see. What I was going to say was applying templates. So we can do one of two things. One, we could create a dropdown that says project type. It could be either acquisition or it could be brokerage. And because these are two separate workflows, these had two separate templates in real life. So we would do an automation that said if, and I don't have the custom field, we say when a subtask is created and we don't have that custom field yet, but we could say when, so the custom field would be project type, but we could say when, even under contract, this would be a good example of the stages. We say, well, no, because we could say when the task is updated, but here we could say when the custom field, I'll just say department is equal to whatever, the sales team, apply a template. And then you would pick the template, I don't have any, for this project type. Conversely, or alternatively, you can have a task type. You can have a task type, which is essentially the same thing as a drop down for a type. A lot I've seen, even in my own work, so many drop downs for category, for type, for stuff like that. So we could have a project, or you can have a task type for, you can create a task type for each of your projects. So you can have ClickUp apply a template based on the project type. How do I get back out? Come on, 4.0. There we go. Let's see. Maybe I can show you real quick on, since that is a fan favorite, I'll show you that real quick. So let's see. Let's do it. See, so if we do it that way, if we do it the phase specific subtasks being loaded, then I think it would make more sense to go with this version. So what I'm going to do, for example, is I'll do this under contract. What I'm going to do is, and you can, if you want to, you can set the custom field at the phase level subtask if you want. You don't have to, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save just this as actually no. All right, this is another case why I recommend having a template library, because I want to create this as all right, I'm going to pop this out. Actually, no. I'll stay on for a couple extra minutes if anybody wants to see this. And this will be the last thing that we do today, because this is fun and I want to show you how to do this. Under contract, duplicate it. So the way to set this up, it's a little counterintuitive, but I'm going to pop this out to be to do. Alrighty. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another subtask called under contract. And I'm going to put these back under here. So I'm basically making a subtask of itself. So here under contract is a subtask of the project. Here, this is still the project. We'll use a project custom task type there. And we have under contract. And I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to have this. Alrighty. So now what we're going to do is we are going to save this as a template. Templates. Save it as template. I'm going to call this under contract. And I'll call it a subtask. The other thing, I really like to date my templates because many times you end up with, if people aren't checking if templates exist before you're making new ones, you end up with four different versions of what should be the same template. So I like to do this so I can see what is the most recent one. Now we can do an automation that says, no, that should work. Now I'm going to do an automation. And again, be specific about where you build the automation. But for now, I'm just going to build it here. I'm going to say when, task or subtask, sure. When, no, actually just on the task. We could say when the custom field of stage changes from any to under contract, we're going to apply a template for under contract. Awesome. And we're going to save. And again, I like to name this because, so I'm going to say when stage is under contract, oh my goodness. Apply template. Nice and simple. I know you can, let's see, task types versus custom fields. How do you determine what makes the most sense? That is a great question. Pam asked if your task type, or if you want to use a task type or a custom field, how do you determine? If you're thinking of categorizing a task as something, as a project type, as a category, that is when I usually will use a task type, because the custom field, if you have a drop down here, like you may forget to set it. But a task type, you can also have it. Oh, here's another thing. You can also have a default task type per list. So if I come to acquisition and I say make the default, so anytime I create a task, make it a project. Then anytime I create a new task, new project, you could see I'm pointing at my screen like you can freaking fucking see what I'm doing. It automatically makes that. The only downside of that is even if I make a subtask, it's going to make it a project. But I've done automations where I say if a subtask is created, change the task type back to task. For example, let's see, I can show you something in my workspace really quickly. I use task types for everything. I use task types for projects. I use task types for marketing stuff. I use task types for all sorts of stuff. So in my projects, I use a task type. These are not up to date. Task type project. And then below that, I have the user. I don't really use user stories the way they are in Agile, but I've got that there. In my marketing content hub, I use a task type for like, whoa, that looks terrible. I will use the, this doesn't all look right. I will use the task type of content topic. Like if it's a broad topic that I'm going to maybe write a blog about, make a video about, write a post on LinkedIn about, and then I'll use this, the little share icon to indicate that that is like a component of the, wow, this didn't work the way I wanted to. And this Slack police, that one already went live. don't, I suck at marketing. My marketing should not be a good example. Like here, filing cabinet, I also use that to filter out things like anything that, here we go. I use a task type of filing cabinet, meaning it's not actionable, stuff like that. But good question, Pam. Thanks. All right, back to here. Let's see. What does Alex say? I like for myself to set the default task type. Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. So what was I saying? Okay, so let's see if this triggers. So I'm going to go to project. Why does that also? All right. Let's now assume that this under contract task does not exist. Delete. Cool. What I should have done was then assigned I'm gonna assign myself this with a due date, just for fun, and I'm gonna re-update this template because I want to see how this shows. Templates. Now we're gonna say update existing template. I'm gonna update that one. Save. Cool. Now let's see if this works. And I don't recommend keeping your task templates in the same list, but that's another topic for another day. Now we're going to change the entire stage to under contract. And let's see what happens. The other thing too, if you want, you can group by your stage if that is more important. Look at that. Ta-da! So that is why I structured this the task template the way I did, because this will not overwrite the name of it will not overwrite the name of your project. It will also not overwrite your custom fields, but it did put the right custom fields and it put me here. So now I've got this due in a week and it's assigned to me. So there we go. We could probably have agents do this as well. But my brain is still in the mindset of how did we do this the old school way. So let's see. We are at 2:05 Eastern. What does that make it? 11:05 Pacific. I hope that was helpful. That was a lot to go through a spreadsheet for project management. And I know a lot of you said you had some crazy flashbacks. That was one type of spreadsheet. I have other clients who have showed me one spreadsheet per project instead of all projects. And I'm not, no lie, 247 lines of stuff on a single project spreadsheet. So that one, you can't import that unless you do it one at a time for each project, but that's a nightmare. But I hope this was helpful. As always, I feel like I end every live with this, that I hope this was helpful. If there were things that you would like to have me answer, you can put it in the comments afterwards and I'll get notified of that and I can answer that for you. I don't have a topic yet for actually next week for, I don't know if anyone saw, I think I sent an email out or maybe I put it on LinkedIn that I had done a workflow for, I did a workflow where I was testing AI fields and sending out emails, and somebody completed the form for me and they said they really wanted to know how I built the form and how I built all the AI into the form. So I did promise Steve that I would do that on a LinkedIn Live, not LinkedIn, on a live stream to show how I built that form and all the AI fields that helped to triage the tasks once they came in. But if you have another topic, it doesn't even have to be ClickUp related. It could just be processes, or how do I map out all my processes to decide what I should create SOPs for, or anything that's project management, process, productivity related that you want me to unpack and unfuck and then build it back up so it works, let me know. There is a, do I have it on newsletter subscribe? Where is my form? That needs to go in the description as well, is my form for if you want to submit a suggestion. All right, there's still a couple people hanging around. Awesome. Where is my form? Where is my form? All right. Oh, thank you, Pam. Yes, we definitely need to have a margarita. And yes, you're in South Carolina. Oh, awesome. That is great. Yeah, I'm up in New Jersey. I know I said that with the rain. All right. this should be way easier. Why can't I find my form? Oh, it's in marketing. It's in newsletter. So let me get that. I will put that in the comments, but then I will also put the link in the description afterwards. So here we go. So request a topic. And Pam, I apologize if I get this wrong, but I think you commented on one of my first live streams after the fact and said you found me that way. So if that's the case, awesome. I'm so glad you're here. Yes, let's have a margarita and build some workflows. So yeah, this was July 10th, 2025. We went into why I hate spreadsheets. And for those of you who do like them, and Anna, thank you for making me keep an open mind. And until next week, do a little bit more. That means I need a sign off. If you've got any ideas, I like to say something like, I hope this has helped you to be more productive, but that's too much of a mouthful. So I'll work on my sign off, but have a great week. It's Friday Eve. Go have a drink and